Shock Monkey Radio is entertainment for adults, by adults, and the views and opinions expressed here do not reflect upon the sponsors or FXBG Public Radio. For additional information, please refer to the United States Bill of Rights. Stand warned. Tune to madness, dial the rage. World's a jungle, stage by stage. Shock Monkey Radio. Feel the static, let it go. Monkey Radio. Twist the dial and lose control. I know it's the intro, but I really like my outro. You know, it's a proper bow out, and the tune is kind of an earwig, you know. Madman loves you all. People like it. But, you know, it occurred to me I never really said hello properly. You know, I try to open with a joke usually to rope you in, but, you know, I never really said I love you from the get-go, and the Madman does love you. You know, here I am on YouTube, Facebook, BitChute, and even Rumble. Doesn't matter, I'm equally unpopular in all of them. But I realize that what I say could be heard everywhere in the world, theoretically. So if you're watching this video 5 years after my death, I wanted you to know the Madman loves you. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for spending time with us. And thanks for listening for as long as you can. I appreciate you, and thank you. Thank you so much. Do you think YouTube, like after I die, like how quickly they're going to pull all my content? Or do you think like they're going to take control of my content, like I can't pass it down to my family or something? No one ever reads the terms of service, I guess. Welcome to Shock Monkey Radio. I'm your host, the Madman. I have a Patreon. Go to patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio. Become a patron today. I'd very much appreciate that. Or you can send me money through Cash App. Use the cash tag Shock Monkey Radio, all one word. And you can follow me on social media up on the top there. So Madman Appreciation Month. This is another picture from that promo day I spent down in Florida. These chicks. Yeah, so the airplane was pretty expensive. Anyway. Just kidding, it's all AI. So I want to talk about my Batman washcloth. As you can see, it's like a nice Neil Adams thing. It was a little stocking stuffer thing I got at Christmas. It was like in a little tiny brick stocking stuffer kind of thing, and you get a little wet and it expands into this big Batman washcloth. And so I was like, okay, cool. I like Batman. I like Neil Adams Batman, so I'll put that in my shower. And then things got weird. I got Batman staring at me from my shower. I feel like I come in there to take a shower, I'm naked, and I feel like Ra's al Ghul stepping out of a Lazarus pit, you know. Seems you have me at a disadvantage, detective. And I don't know, I just don't feel right being naked around Batman. Feels weird. Feels weird. And then there's the other issue. Like, am I going to scrub my balls with the bat? It seems wrong. Seems wrong. Am I going to send the Dark Knight on a mission to scrub my ass crack? Am I going to do that? No, I can't. I can't. It almost feels like a graven image. Like, for example, if you put Jesus on a washcloth, would you feel comfortable wiping out your crack with it? You know what I mean? And I mean, then I started thinking, maybe this is like a graven image. Maybe like you shouldn't put Batman on a washcloth. And so I was thinking, I got to get this out of my bathroom. It's like, it doesn't belong there. It doesn't belong in my bathroom. So it's
not the level of clean that you deserve.
It's not the level of clean I deserve. You are bad
at the level of clean that you need.
Okay. I don't know if you heard that, but it's really not worth repeating. It's a Batman reference, but you're not good at that stuff. There's a reason why you're over there and I'm in here. Love you, EK. So, I don't know what to do with this now. So I think I'm just going to keep it in my car, because if like I get a car accident and I have to plug somebody's, wound with it, seems a little more proper, to do that with Batman. Or even like checking the oil. I could use the reverse side and check the oil. Because Batman, he has to keep his Batmobile running. That kind of makes sense. And I just don't want to destroy the graven image of Batman. And so you shouldn't put Jesus on a washcloth. You shouldn't put Batman on a washcloth. After all, we know what we do with washcloths. So I don't know. I think It's the wrong thing to put it in the shower. I don't know why. 5 months, 6 months now, staring at Batman while naked, and it's awful. It's awful. I don't know what. Ah, hell. Well, never mind. All right. Speaking of hellos, proper hellos. You ever known a person who never uses their front door? I ran into a lot of people like this when I was delivering pizzas, where nobody uses the front door to go in the house, in and out of the house. They all go in through a side door or maybe the garage, and that's like the main entrance. Everyone uses that one. And so I'd be delivering a pizza to someone's house, and I come up and knock on the door, ring the doorbell, and they come out of the garage or they come out of the side door, and they're looking at me like I'm crazy for knocking on the front door. What are you doing? I was like, oh, well, I know which door everyone uses to get in their house everywhere in this town. How silly of me to come up to your front door and ring the doorbell when you order a pizza. I guess I should have known to have gone around back, scratch on the garage door, wave at the camera or something. It's ridiculous. It's like I'm the one who's in the wrong for thinking that. And then sometimes you'd even get to go in these people's houses and see how this laid out. It's like, I want to see what's by your front door. And sometimes you'll see like a couch pushed up against the front door or a bookcase. And you're like, wow, you really committed to never using the front door, right? And they're like, yeah, well, thanks for the pizza. Here's your tip. Get the hell out of my house. It's like, okay, fair enough. It seems to me like you're expecting SWAT to come knock in any minute. And, whatever. I don't really care. I'm not a snitch or anything. But I mean, you say you do this to like maximize the living area in the house. I don't know. It seems like you're expecting SWAT. So I don't know. Have you ever encountered somebody like that? It is weird. Maximize living space. No, you're weird. All right, let's do the coin of the week, because I got a couple movie reviews I'm going to talk about. So, look at this guy. Look at this guy. This is the coin of the week. This is a Turkish commemorative coin. It's a $100,000 Lira. It was issued in 1999 for the 75th anniversary of the Republic of Turkey. And the obverse side, that is this one, has a large stylized 75 combined with the Turkish crescent moon and star, the national emblem of all Islam, really. It says 1923 to 1998, 75-year span celebrated, founding the Republic on 29 October 1923. It also says Ket Misbes Yili. Probably got that wrong. It says 75th year in Turkish at the bottom. The reverse side, tail side, there's same outer text with the crescent star motif. 100,000 lira, face value. 1999 is the year of the issue. Laurel branches on either side of the date, common in Turkish commemorative coins, I should say. The coin was minted with the mark of the 75th anniversary of the modern Turkish Republic. It belongs to a series of high-denomination commemorative coins issued in the late 90s as Turkey dealt with very high inflation, hence the 100,000 lira face value. It has golden bronze tone, probably made of aluminum, wasn't bronze. It's 39 millimeters, quite large for the period. It's usually worth about $3 to $8. So, not bad. It is 100,000 lira after all. But that's the problem with inflation. You end up like, what's his name, Mugabe? You got $1 trillion banknotes. So, yeah. Inflation's a thing. All over the world, inflation's a thing. Did I show you? I got it right here. It is kind of biggish. I don't know, a little, about the size of a quarter, really. Anyway, it's about 50% lucky. I know I'm bad at math and determining this, but I took two $10 scratchers, won $10 on each of them. On one of them, went and got two $5 tickets from that and lost. So that's 50% lucky for this 100,000 lira, Turkish lira coin. It flips well, spins well, doesn't scratch very well. It has a smooth edge. Oh, I guess I had like a ridged edge at one point. I don't know. Still fairly common on the secondary market, including eBay, Turkish numismatic sites, etc., because a decent number were minted and saved as souvenirs. Yeah, it's I get a lot of these coins from the Middle East because, like I said, I have friends who from Lebanon, and so they've been all over the Middle East. So they, I say I'm into coins, and they're like, "Oh, check this one out. Can I have it? $3 to $8, I'd say." Coin of the week. Those beers look so good, ladies. I'm telling you. You remember Esther? No, you don't remember. I remember Esther. She was real nice to me and stuff like that. But she still hasn't accepted my Facebook friend request. All right, let's do a couple movie reviews. Let's do a bad one and a good one. So the 2007 movie Smiley Face, starring Anna Faris and John Krasinski. But he's kind of a small part. He's not really a big player. It's Anna Faris mostly, and she's intensely beautiful, I think. But kind of, I mean, like I said years ago, I listened to her podcast once. I was like, oof, you are as dumb as every character you've ever played. And so this movie is about Anna Faris's character, who's like a wannabe actress, but she's a pothead and just spends way too much time smoking pot. And I'm telling you, you watch a movie like this, and it's like, some people just should not smoke pot, eat pot, get involved with pot at all, because it's like you already start out at a really dumb level without pot. Like, you're already stupid. Then you add marijuana, and whew, your IQ just goes down the tubes. And that's what's so infuriating about her character in this movie, Jane, is that she's a colossal idiot. And I could explain to you the plot of the story, but it only makes sense if you're an irresponsible pothead. All right, she scarfs down her roommate's pot-laden cupcakes, which she didn't know had pot in them, and it goes nuts, basically. And so, and because she did that, she realized, oh, I'm going to have to make up. My roommate's going to be pissed. I'm going to have to. Her roommate is Danny Masterson, by the way, and it was kind of weird, his character in the movie, especially like what happened, what came to light later with the skull and everything. Anyway, check it out. I mean, there's a few elements that are really interesting in this movie that make it worth discussion, make it worth me rating it, because I really like the fact that Danny Masterson's character was really, really weird. And I don't know if like stuff was breaking about the rumors about him were coming out, and so they're just like, because it seems like Danny Masterson like was like eating humble pie throughout that script. It's just crazy. Anna Faris's character, she makes this new plan, stoned out of her mind, how to fix everything, and everything just keeps falling apart. She's got an audition to go to, and she tries to sell pot to the casting director, and because she's a stoned idiot. And I want to say, like, in the first act of the movie, there's about I don't know, $180 worth of weed that is just wasted. All right, I'm not a big fan of like a lot of weed and spending a lot of money on weed, but I also know that it represents a monetary value, and when you pay for something, no matter how absurd it is, it's still worth something. But when you burn pot on the stove trying to merge it with butter to cook some new cupcakes, it's I don't know, it's the penny pincher in me. It's the Scottish blood, maybe. It's just like, you just wasted the money. You could argue you wasted it by buying pot, but you absolutely wasted the pot that you spent money on. It's infuriating. It's infuriating. All right, and here's the thing, because Marxism gets brought up, right? And I guess it's not a spoiler to bring this up. It's like she knew this professor in college who was a Marxist who apparently talked to her about a lot of things, about the proletariat and all that shit, And I really liked how they handled the Marxism, because she goes and hides from the cops, long story, in this guy's house, and where he wasn't there, but his mother was. She's like, "Oh, are you the new teaching assistant? Yeah, you need to bring this to his office and put it in the safe right away." And she's like, "Okay, whatever." She's stoned and an idiot, so she leaves with this thing. And so she opens it up, and inside is like an original printing of the Communist Manifesto by obviously Karl Marx and what's his name? Shit, I'm blanking on it now. I'm blanking. The other guy, Kurt Vonnegut. I'm kidding. And so it's an original copy, and my first impulse when I saw the thing was to destroy it, but destroying it is not the same as destroying all copies of the Communist Manifesto. But then second thought, I realized, oh, this is probably an incredibly valuable book because of its history and so forth. So just like her in the movie, she got this thing. I was like, oh, I'll sell it on eBay and make a fortune. That'll solve all my problems. She's an idiot, by the way, and so am I, admittedly. But I'm certainly not as stoned as she is. And so so she's like, what am I going to do with this Communist Manifesto? I got to get to this audition. I got to meet these people. I got all these obligations, but I'm too stoned to do a damn thing. So it's frustrating in that regard. I did like how they handled the concept of Marxism, because there's this one scene where she goes on this like Marxist rant, and then it like backs up. It's like, that's what she thought she said. This is how it really went down. It's just like this stoned ranting idiot complaining, and even like Danny Trejo's in the corner going, what are you talking about? And I thought that was really funny because, you know, you'd have to be like really, really, really stoned the way Anna Faris's character is in this movie to think that Marxism has any value whatsoever. And so I kind of liked how they handled the Marxism thing. I kind of like how, I don't know, I think that's what I like about the movie, is that it's honest about how stupid pot makes people. You know, you idiots are just so dumb, especially when you eat it. Anyway, Smiley Face, 2007 movie, 5 of 13 stars. And this is particularly why I think people should not eat pot. I'm kind of okay with you guys smoking pot, because you don't get as dumb as you'd get when you eat it. And that's what concerns me about all these gummies and edibles and so forth, is like, because kids can get them. And when anyone, any human being, or any living creature really eats it, you have a different metabolic reaction, and you're more likely to experience like hallucinations, like the narrator talking to you on the Ferris wheel, the Anna Faris wheel. Anyway, it made me think, despite being a dumb stoner comedy. What's funny is that it's like even dumber than Dude, Where's My Car? Even though and that's impressive on its own, because that's a really dumb movie. All right, let's talk about a much better movie, Predators, 2010. When it comes to Predator movies, this is probably one of the best ones. I would say the first one is obviously the best because of the "you son of a bitch," the classic shit, you know. Get to the chopper. It's great. And as Predator movies go, this is up there. I think it captures a lot of what was great about the original concerning like soldiers. And you get introduced to these characters, and you got a real PUBG/Fortnite beginning hook to this movie, where it just starts with Adrian Brody's falling from the sky. All his weapons and stuff like that, but he's got a little parachute, beep, 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 beeping, and he hits the button, parachute beeps, and the parachute deploys, and he lands on this in this jungle, and starts running into other characters, soldiers, gang members, you know, real rough types from all over the world, you know, and then there's this doctor who looks exactly like Topher Grace, you know. And so you start to realize, oh, they're okay. If it's a Predator movie, they're probably like on some sort of Predator game preserve, or is it a reserve? Game reserve, and they're being hunted by predators. So I like there's a scene where Adrian Brody is talking to the girl here, and he says, "Are you IDF?" And she's like, "Yeah, you in the service?" And he's like, "No, not exactly." And she's almost kind of wondering, like, how do you know I was IDF? It was like, well, you're a chick holding a very fancy sniper rifle, so you're probably IDF. Yeah, the first act, you get just, you know, getting introduced to all the characters, which, you know, is obligatory, obviously. But the second act of this movie is just fantastic. And if you watched a lot of my movie reviews, you realize I don't say that a whole lot. Like, when a second act is really good, it's important, you know. And so the second act is great, where they find the predator camp and they have an altercation there, and then they run into Larry Fishburne, who's he's fantastic at slowing down the pace out of the second act and into the third. It was really good. I mean, Larry Fishburne really did a good job there. Also, the guy who plays the Russian did really well. He had very emotive eyes. When you don't have a whole lot of lines, you got to have very, very emotive eyes. And yeah, in the second act there, hey, you found a real katana. The Japanese, he was a Yakuza. He found a real katana. And what I like about it is, like, every time a katana is like mentioned in a like movie or something like that, it usually is like on screen. It usually is not actually a katana. It's the shorter one, the wakazashi, I think it is, or the what's the nuts sword. But no, it's an actually, you know, the katana is like a 6 foot long. It's got long handled sword. It's pretty vicious. So the Japanese Yakuza guy, he finds a katana and faces down a predator. And that's what's great about a predator movie, is that, you know, you got to have good deaths. It's like, even like, what's his name? Who played the CIA guy in the first Predator? Shit. He was in Arrested Development. What's his name? Carl Weathers. Carl Weathers, you know, his death was great. Mac's death was great in the first one. And when you see like great deaths in this movie, you're like, oh, this is capturing, you know, Billy on the log, carving that blood on, you know, it's fantastic. It's badass warrior shit. You know, plus, like, the weapon systems are amazing. Like Adrian Brody here, he's carrying a cause, you know, close assault weapon systems, shotgun, like automatic shotgun. So, like, they never even realize in the movie, they left us with our guns. Now they really, like, connected the dots. They left us with our weapons. It's fantastic. I mean, the second act is great. It's well written. And what's interesting is that who says what matters. Like, there's a scene where the prisoner, the guy who was on death row, he comes running up and says, hey, why aren't you smiling? Because he expected someone to be smiling. And unfortunately, that's bad news. But he's a sociopath. He was on death row. You know, he was a killer, you know, a terrible person all around. But he reads situations by reading people's faces, you know. And that's, like, true to a character like that. You know, there's also a guy who says he's a scavenger. He wants what we have. And you realize, oh, the guy who said that is also a very sick individual. And was way ahead of this potential hazard before everyone else, because he is who he is. The third act was great. I don't want to spoil it because it has a fantastic ending. And it was definitely open enough to go into, like, to continue the storyline. I would love to see the continuation of this storyline, but I don't want to ruin the end, because it is really good. The second act is really good. The third act is really good. The only reason the first act doesn't look as good is because they spend much time trying to introduce the characters and so forth, and the situation. So, but I mean, you have to do that to make the movie, the second act and third act, good. So, fantastic ending, well done. Predators 2010 movie, 12 of 13 stars. And I'll tell you why I took 1 star off. Adrian Brody has one of the most punchable faces I've ever seen. I look at him and I'm just like, I could fix that for you, bro. Just, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's all those years ever since, what was that movie, Summer of Sam? All the chicks are like, oh, I love his skinny little face and his crooked little nose. And it's like, man, I want to punch you too. Maybe that's why I hate Adrian Brody. It's like, all the girls are like, oh, he's so cute. And it's like, I don't get it. I really don't. So he has a very punchable face. Plus, everyone kind of knows, I mean, even since the first one, everyone kind of knows that Predator is just a sci-fi version of A Most Dangerous Game. Or was it The Most Dangerous Game? I don't know. Anyway, good flick. Let's get into the news worth knowing. All right. Why are immigrants in our government? Why are immigrants in elected office? Shouldn't you be? I think you should be a natural born citizen, but I know there's this whole controversy about natural born citizens. Anyway, excuse me. Anyway, Omar silent when confronted on alleged ties to massive Minnesota fraud scandal. She has faced criticism in recent months for not complying with investigations into the fraud scandal. You know what that sounds like? That sounds like she's guilty AF. Representative Ilhan Omar, Democrat from Minnesota, refused to engage when asked by Fox News Digital if she would cooperate with the investigation into Minnesota's Feeding Our Future scheme. The progressive lawmaker is accused of having ties with those involved in that scandal, and the federal prosecutors say it cost taxpayers roughly $250 million. But when asked about her connections, Omar stayed silent. Quote, did you ask Minnesota Democrats to block the subpoena for the investigation of Feeding Our Future on the state level? Omar was asked when confronted in the halls of Congress on Monday, but did not respond. She then ignored the second question, would you cooperate with that subpoena and provide documents if they request it here in the House Oversight Committee? After publication, Omar provided a statement to Fox News Digital denying any wrongdoing. She's like, I got to go home and think about it, I guess. Then I'll get back to you. Quote, any claim that I had knowledge of this scheme is flat out false. Omar said the MEALS Act, MEALS, was signed into law by President Trump and passed with bipartisan support as part of a broader legislative package. Trump's USDA secretary set the regulatory framework during the rollout of the program. I've always championed feeding kids and will continue to ensure that our children do not go hungry. She continued, the moment this fraud came to light, I immediately sent a letter to the USDA secretary demanding answers and accountability. As I stated from the beginning, millions of dollars under the guise of feeding hungry children to bankroll lavish lifestyles and extravagant expenses is reprehensible. I am grateful that Amy Bach and every individual involved in this important scheme are being held accountable for defrauding taxpayers and betraying vulnerable children. It's not me, it's her. It's thought that Omar's MEALS Act, a federal COVID-19 relief measure she sponsored in 2020, ties her to the massive scandal. Many Republicans argue her bill enabled the fraud by rapidly expanding USDA waiver authority at meal sites. Despite the concerns, the Minnesota Democrat has declined multiple opportunities in recent months to directly answer questions or provide information on her alleged ties to the fraud, including documented ties to some of those convicted fraudsters. Excuse me. See, what's coming to light now is that there was a lot of stuff that happened during like 2020 and like the COVID nightmare that we all went through, where they're pushing stuff through Congress to allow this kind of fraud to go on because everyone was distracted by the COVID thing. Everyone was distracted by the riots in Minnesota. And I can't understand why people can't put two and two together and realize, like, hey, maybe we should do something about this. After all, we should be responsible with the tax dollars, our tax dollars, and make sure we're not just stuffing them in the pockets of Muslim immigrants, Somali immigrants. Imagine their story. They came to America and got rich just off of asking for it. Hey, I'm the madman. I want to be rich. Can I have some? I've been paying taxes my whole life. My whole life. Can I have some? I want a Benz. Not really. I don't want a Benz. I want a Batmobile. I want a Batmobile with Kleenex in them. All right, let's go to this next story. I don't know if you guys heard about this guy, but he's got guts. It's like Chud the Builder. It's like, you got guts, that's for sure. I don't want to talk about you, though. Anyway, Texas teen tells Congress he received death threats after revealing Islamic booth at high school. Representative Chip Roy invited Marco Hunter-Lopez to testify at the Sharia-Free America hearing last week. First on Fox. A Texas high school student who went viral after calling out an Islamic group for passing out hijabs on his campus told members of Congress last week that he has received death threats for speaking up. Marco Hunter-Lopez, a 16-year-old student at Wiley East High School and president of the campus Republican Club, told Fox, if you're the president of the club, you have to do this, right? Anyway, he told Fox News Digital he was invited by Representative Chip Roy, Republican for Texas, to testify on May 13th before the House Judiciary Subcommittee on Constitution and Limited Government in a hearing titled Sharia-Free America. Hunter-Lopez testified about an incident that occurred on February 2nd on his high school campus when he encountered an Islamic booth where 4 adult women from the organization Why Islam were passing out hijabs to female students, copies of the Quran with conversion instructions, and a pamphlet titled Understanding Sharia. The incident drew national attention after Hunter-Lopez posted videos of the booth to social media. During his testimony, he revealed he received death threats afterwards. Quote, I had people saying they're going to be at my house waiting for me to go get home, and they're going to shoot me, Hunter-Lopez told the subcommittee. I had people telling me to kill myself, a lot of different things, but I know nobody can proclaim anything over me because I wake up every morning with victory in Christ. In his testimony, Hunter-Lopez said that Sharia law is fundamentally incompatible with the U.S. Constitution and American values. He argued that the outside group violated school policy and parental rights. Quote, handing out materials that present Sharia favorably to minors during the school day without parental approval risks normalizing ideas that undermine the very principles of our public schools are supposed to uphold. This is not a neutral education. It is an ideological promotion under the guise of diversity and inclusion. Exchange Representative Jamie Raskin, the Democrat from Maryland, also went viral when the lawmaker questioned the purpose of the session, asking if anyone believed the U.S. needs special laws targeting specific religious populations rather than holding everyone to secular law. That's an interesting question, isn't it? All right. When Raskin directed the question to Hunter-Lopez, the teenager challenged Raskin's characterization of the American legal system, pointing out the vast majority of the signers of the Declaration of Independence were church-attending Christians. After clips of the exchange were posted to X last week, conservatives praised the teen for his articulate response to the congressman's questioning. Hunter-Lopez later told Fox News Digital that Raskin repeatedly cut him off before he could fully argue with lawmakers that argue that lawmakers must acknowledge that Americans' Christian foundations, but said he was ready to defend his views. I believe he thinks he was going to catch me off guard by calling me out, but it didn't. Hunter-Lopez told Fox News Digital, I took the fight. Representatives for Raskin and Mamdani didn't respond. Hunter-Lopez credited his faith, obviously, and Charlie Kirk for inspiration. Yeah, this is great. This guy, could you imagine being 16 and dealing with this? You know, I knew a guy who had a friend who was a black girl, and she kind of flirted with him in front of a bunch of other black guys. And they came to his house and kicked the shit out of him, 6 guys. All right. And I don't know, it just popped in my head because that's kind of like Sharia law. It's like you touched her hair. And, this is dangerous business, being 16 and getting jumped by a bunch of guys, and you're getting death threats and so forth because you're pointing out what's wrong in the world, And if there was some school event at a high school, and I set up a booth and say, hey, why Christianity? Why is Christianity good? And I could be sitting there at the booth saying, yeah, the church outlawed cousin marriage. I don't know, somewhere in the 1200s. I don't know. Can every religion say they did that? And then after that, we had what is called a renaissance because IQs should start going whoop, straight up. It's like how Christianity created the first world. And I could be sitting there in that booth talking about it all day long, and there'd be tons of people coming up to me saying, hey, you cannot be talking about religion in a public school. But you can have an Islam table. And that's the whole point of the Sharia thing. It's like if you disagree in any way with Sharia, death threats. They want to come to your house. This is how these inbred Muslims think that they have a right to do this. They think they have the right to kill you if you do not agree with them. This is why it's incompatible with the West, all right? Because Islam in itself is a world-dominating, a really expansionist religion with the goal of world domination. And that's the whole point. It pisses them off that there are women walking around with their hair showing. They're pissed off that I can see this chick's legs, lovely Esther's legs. Friend me on Facebook. They hate it. They hate you. And even if you convert, they'll still hate you. All right? Because you're not ethnically Muslim. All right? I've seen that in the Muslim world. Oh, you converted to Islam? Not really the same as growing up in Islam. Anyway, good for this kid. I couldn't imagine facing that kind of stuff. And like Charlie Kirk, what he was facing, the courage of that guy. And so I'm glad he's been an inspiration for that gentleman in Texas. All right, let's talk about more Islamic assholes being assholes. So Mamdani won't attend Israel Day parade, breaking decades-long mayoral tradition amid anti-Semitism surge. Two of the city's most prominent Jewish organizations declined an invitation to a Jewish heritage event in response to Mamdani's policies. So Democratic Socialist Mayor Zoran Mamdani of New York City is being slammed in Jewish groups for his decision to miss the city's historic Israel Day parade. His decision comes as the Big Apple wrestles with record levels of anti-Semitism. Home of the largest Jewish population outside of Israel, Jewish New Yorkers have long viewed the annual parade as one of the city's clearest public displays of solidarity with both the Jewish state and the community. On Tuesday, two of the city's most prominent Jewish organizations declined an invitation to a Jewish heritage event held at Gracie Mansion in response to Mamdani's latest snub. Since the very first parade in 1964, every single sitting mayor of New York City has joined the festive celebrations. New York has historically been proud of its deep relationship with Israel. Not joining the parade is an affront to the history of New York City. Moshe Davis, forgive me, former executive director of the mayor's office to combat anti-Semitism under Mayor Eric Adams, told Fox News Digital. Earlier in the month, Mamdani officially confirmed that he would not attend the event, despite soaring anti-Semitism in New York City and weeks of anti-Israel demonstrations outside synagogues and Jewish communal institutions across the city. Parade organizers say the event on May 31st is expected to draw a record turnout in response to Mamdani's snub. While the mayor has previously indicated during an October 2025 interview with the Jewish Telegraphic Agency, he is not likely to attend the political as a matter of political principle. His renewed public confirmation has led to growing criticism. Yeah. Here's something I want to throw out there. Would it be reasonable to assume that Mamdani could fear for his safety by going to a Jewish march because of all his anti-Semitism? And wouldn't that be a legitimate reason not to go? You know, it's like, yeah, I mean, I've been so anti-Jews since I got in office. I still feel like if I go to a Jewish party, they're going to kick my ass or something. I think that's a legitimate fear. I don't know. What do you think? I mean, it's clear, you know, he hates Jews. They hate Jews, Democrats. I mean, because, you know, they're like, they want to get the Muslims on their side, and the only way to get the Muslims on their side is to hate the Jews like the Muslims do. Hate the white guys. Hate the Christians like the Muslims do. And they don't understand that they're being, you know, cowed into submission by evil Muslims. It's not compatible with the West. Not really compatible with human beings either. Oh, shucks. I'm scrolling all over the place here. All right. Let's jump across the pond, talk about the UK for a bit. So, it takes forever to load this thing. Come on now. UK police apologized to Father Ted creator Graham Linehan for arrest over trans social media post. 5 armed officers detained the comedy writer at Heathrow in September 2025 on suspicion of inciting violence. Metropolitan Police have issued an apology to Irish comedy writer who was arrested over a social media post criticizing transgender issues, according to a new report. Graham Linehan, creator of Father Ted, was detained by 5 armed officers at Heathrow on September 2025. That's an airport, by the way, if you don't know. On suspicion of inciting violence. Yeah, in England, they don't arrest people for actual violence, just inciting it. The Telegraph reported that Lindsay Watson, a transgender former police officer, reported Linehan for a hate crime stemming from 3 social media posts Linehan had posted criticizing transgender activists. That's a messy, cluttered sentence. Prosecutors later dropped the case. Linehan announced in October he intended to sue the force for wrongful arrest. I gotta mute this. Mute. All right, then all right, all the way down. They intend to sue for wrongful arrest after 5 months 5-month investigation, the Met Police has now apologized for how the case was handled and vowed to learn from the experience. Excuse me. I apologize to Mr. Linehan for the shortcomings in this investigation. Met Police Inspector Matt Hume said, according to police report obtained by the Telegraph, the Met Police remain committed to lawful, proportionate policing and to learning from the failings when they arise. I accept that the service provided was not acceptable and recognize the distress and impact this matter has caused Mr. Linehan, he added. They keep calling it the service like it's a restaurant. Oh, was your steak overdone? Terribly sorry about the service. You mean the police? You got, Muslim guys running around raping kids all the time around here, but you don't do anything about that. You know what you do? You go after white people who post stuff you don't like on the internet. You go after white people who post stuff like, hey, there's a bunch of Muslims running around here raping kids. You going to do anything about that? So, no, you're not going to do anything about that. We will come and arrest you for mentioning that because I don't think you're going to put up a fight, and I don't think your whole religious community is going to come up in arms and like swarm our police station and try to like throw rocks at us until we let you go. Because if they started arresting Muslims in England, that's probably what would happen. All the Muslims would start rioting, causing trouble. Anyway, if you want to talk solutions, I will talk it off air. Talk about it off air. There is a solution to all this. Anyway. Let's go into 2 happier stories and then walk out of here for the week. What do you think? Okay. All right. It is Madman Appreciation Month after all. I'm going to give myself a light day. What do you think? Yeah. So this is sad, but for example, if you get to heaven and you're like, how'd you die? I died like a cartoon character. Like, really? Yeah. What, you like running, then you got off a cliff, and then you realized there's no ground below you, and then you started falling? No, not quite like that. Anyway, let's go into the story. Woman dies after plunging into uncovered manhole outside of luxury stores. Police say the 56-year-old was found unconscious inside the manhole near East 52nd Street. No arrests have been made. A woman died after falling into an uncovered manhole in Midtown Manhattan on late Monday night, police told Fox News Digital. The 56-year-old woman was found unconscious and unresponsive inside an uncovered manhole in front of 653 Fifth Avenue near East 52nd Street around 11:19 p.m. Oh, I've been there. Sure. NYPD told Fox News Digital on Tuesday. Police responded to a 911 call. Really? In New York? Call for an aided person and arrived. The editor in me is like, the silence is just the editor in me just raging. It's like throwing coffee cups in the office of my mind. All right. Arrived to find the woman inside the manhole within the confines of Midtown North Precinct. The area is one of the Manhattan's busiest shopping and tourist corridors lined with luxury retailers, office towers, and hotels. EMS transported the woman to New York Presbyterian Cornell Medical Center, where she was pronounced dead. That's unfortunate. Office of Chief Medical Examiner will determine the cause of death. Cartoon death. It's a cartoon death. The identity of the deceased is being withheld without, pending family notification. Authorities have not said why the manhole cover was uncovered. The manhole was uncovered, or whether that was my mistake, or whether any work was being done in the area at the time of the incident. Those damn Ninja Turtles. New York City-based energy company Con Edison said it's continuing to investigate the woman's death, and reviewed video from the area appears to show the manhole cover becoming dislodged after a multi-axle truck turned onto East 52nd Street from Fifth Avenue and drove over it. The utility company said the woman parked her vehicle nearby about 12 minutes later before the... What? The utility company said the woman parked her vehicle nearby about 20 minutes later before the fatal accident occurred. I'm going to read that again and see if you start throwing coffee cups in your mind. The utility company said the woman parked her vehicle nearby about 12 minutes later before the fatal accident occurred. What happened 12 minutes later? Did she park it 12 minutes after she fell down the hole? It's confusing as hell. Following a tragic incident, we're continuing to investigate how this occurred, Con Ed said in a statement, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, thoughts remain with the family, so forth. I don't know. I thought like manhole covers were designed to so if a truck rolls over them, it won't pop out, or even if it does, it'll roll back into place. I don't know. I thought that's how they were designed. I thought that's why they were designed that way. And it could be that someone was working on the street. It could be like a truck popped it off and the poor lady wasn't paying attention. It was nighttime after all. And it's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. But I mean, it's like, what happened to you? You're like, you're line to heaven. You're like, what happened to you? It's like, I fell in a manhole cover. It's like, really? What? Do you live in a Warner Brothers cartoon? It's like, no, it actually happened. That stuff actually happens in real life. Yeah, it's like slipping on a banana peel. You're in line. There's a bunch of people right around you. It's like, yeah, I slipped on a banana peel. It's like, get out of town. Yeah, I totally slipped on a banana peel. What about you? A guy, a tiny little mouse pulled out a large mallet and banged me in the head. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm not buying that one. You're lying. What was it? How'd you die? Heart attack. Okay. You guys have much cooler stories than I do. Much respect for the woman who lost her life, obviously. Gotta laugh to keep from crying. All right, let's do this last story. Man allegedly called 911 multiple times to report zombies, ghosts, and a UFO, and then claimed to be a cop. I think he was possibly just lonely. Clinton Wayne Nealon also allegedly impersonated a Louisiana police officer when deputies arrived at his Elkins home. Yeah, I think he was just lonely. West Virginia man repeatedly called 911 to report a trifecta of extraterrestrial and undead beings in his home, authorities said. Clinton Wayne Nealon, 33 of Elkins, who was arrested Sunday, is charged with the misuse of local emergency telephone system and impersonating a law enforcement officer, according to Randolph County Sheriff's Office. 4 deputies responded to Nealon's residence following a series of 911 calls reporting ghosts, zombies, and a UFO. Just one, I guess. Just one UFO. Quote, upon arrival, Mr. Nealon made several false claims. How do you know they're false? Maybe there was a UFO. Maybe there were zombies. Maybe there was a ghost. Did you question the ghost? Did you question the zombies? Did you detain anyone that was inside the UFO? Anyway, he had several false claims, including that he was being harassed by numerous individuals and that he was a police officer from Louisiana, the sheriff's office said. I'll never understand what people claim to be cops when they're not. The investigation confirmed that he was not a law enforcement officer and he had misused the emergency system to make false reports, the police said. He is now arrested and booked in Tigard Valley Regional Jail with a cash-only $2,500 bond, online records show. How much of their journalism is just searching stuff on the internet? Do they ever go to talk to anybody anymore? You watch those old movies that the journalist is in the movie. It's like, oh, I got to go downtown and talk to the probate guy. Talk to the judge about this one. This is the only way. It's like, you get him on the phone. Hello? Judge Watson? I need to come by and ask you some questions about the big case. Anyway, I think this guy was lonely. I remember I was watching a body cam video where this lady, she was smoking pot all day and reading the news. So she called 911. She's like, yeah, Trump's coming to get us. I don't know what to do. It's like, I got, there's men in black all over my house. She's freaking out, right? Because she's been smoking pot all day and reading the news. And I'm telling you, it could, when it comes to a guy like this, it could have been smoking meth, could have been pot, anything, and doing cocaine. And any kind of person, have you known people who use cocaine? And they'll hole up in there, Whitney Houston. You hole up in their room just doing cocaine and lines after lines, only getting paranoid about everything. The damn birds, they know. Stuff like that. So, I mean, I don't know. It's this world we live in. We have all this information at our fingertips and people are getting absolutely destroyed at home and they're reading the news and they start panicking. You know, I know there's a lot of bad news in the world. I mean, I look at it every day. You know, I read the news every day, but I have to keep a smile on my face. I have to keep going on in the world because I can't let that stuff get to me. And so when it comes to bad news stories, when it comes to the horrible, terrifying news in the world, you know, no matter how drunk I get, no matter how stoned, how much meth I smoke, I'm not going to panic. You know, that's the problem. That's the whole point of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Don't panic. You know, be like, what's his name? Ford Lincoln Mercury? What's his name? Ford Galaxy? What's his name? Guy that Mos Def played in the movie. Ford? And anyway, you come down, the Earth's about to be destroyed, you're like, screw it, let's just start pounding pints. There's no need to panic, no matter what's happening. So I hope you take that with you throughout this next week, because this is going to be the end of the show. I want to remind you again that I have a Patreon. Go to patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio. Become a patron today and celebrate Madman Appreciation Month. I would appreciate it. Share it with your friends. Share this video with everybody you know. Tell them you love me. Tell them you think I'm awesome. Tell them that you just want to buy the shirts that you can get in the Zazzle store. That'll be in the description once I update it. But the Zazzle store link is in every description of every video, so you can find that. You can send me money through Cash App, hashtag shockmonkeyradio, of course. You can follow me on social media at DNALETSAW. That's the word wasteland spelled backwards on Twitter. Most of you don't follow me on Twitter because that's hard to remember. It's like, why isn't it just Shock Monkey Radio? It's like, well, I made it long before I came up with Shock Monkey Radio. It's Twitter after all. Or you can follow me on Instagram at SLRoberts13 on Instagram, or Shock Monkey Radio Redux on Facebook. This has been Shock Monkey Radio. I'm the Madman, and I love you.
The Madman loves you all, from the big to the small. He loves you from afar, no matter